Welcome to the ECG Podcast, a show where some East Coast buddies who have never met in person gather remotely once a week to hang out, talk about our love of video games and other shared interests. I'm one of your hosts from Jacksonville, Florida, actually from the lovely Boreal Valley, as seen behind me. We'll get to that a little bit later, but no, from Jacksonville, Florida. Joined this evening by Mr. George Ravelo from Miami, Florida.
What up, what up?
I got Mr. Zach Cassell from Boston, Massachusetts.
I'm rewatching the MCU shows with my girlfriend now for the first time, and they're so goddamn good.
Number one, shocked that there's not a Pats reference, and literally this afternoon on my lunch break, I finished my rewatch, like abbreviated rewatch of MCU, like the last hour of Endgame, and like I just don't know if they're ever gonna get to that height again, man. Like the hypest moments of Endgame are just so fucking good. Like I was getting goosebumps. I've seen it several times before. I was getting goosebumps. I was getting choked up, like all the parts. Like they just nailed so much about the execution of that. And I feel like so far, full disclosure, have not watched any of Loki yet. I'm waiting for it to maybe get like, a little bit closer to Black Widow, which I think is next week. So maybe one more episode of Loki, and then I'm gonna binge it all. But they feel like kind of like when you have a big comic event and there's like the little shitty spinoff like stories, and I'm using that pejoratively. Like I've enjoyed some of the MCU like shows, but it's a very stark contrast. Like going back to watching some of the best movies like over the last like 6 to 8 weeks, like it's very clear that like they haven't quite hit that quality, and I don't know that they can with the TV shows. But how is she liking them?
Yeah, she's liking them. Oops, someone's calling me. She's liking them, but it's what I like about them is it's smaller, more personal stories, I guess is the better way to put it. I mean, Falcon and Winter Soldier kind of tries to take it into, I feel like, more MCU movie territory.
Yeah.
But I mean, I appreciate where we're on WandaVision right now, and I appreciate how different it is and how it changes the pace. It definitely leans more into MCU towards the end of the series for sure. But man, the beginning of it towards them and then up to the middle is like, I feel like it's just a totally unique experience.
That was my favorite parts of it for sure. I was like so on board with like the weirdness, like I really liked that aspect of it. And I loved aspects of the Falcon and Winter Soldier. Again, like the payoff that you get kind of in the final episode with him becoming Captain America, and then kind of trying to start righting like the wrongs of like the racial injustices and stuff. All really good stuff. Be interested to see how I feel about Loki, because that seems very divisive. Like people seem to either like really dig Loki or like are hating it. Like I'm not seeing a lot of like lukewarm responses. Like people are very, very strongly opinionated one way or the other. So yeah, we'll see.
I love all MCU shit, so I'm not the best person to ask.
Fair enough. Drinking the Kool-Aid, nothing wrong with that. Look, I always say like enjoy what you enjoy. Like everyone's entitled to their opinion. Like I try not to shit on anything that like people somebody loves, especially. Like I feel like that I don't like being that person. I used to be that person, in college. Like I think back on conversations I had with people, like either getting wildly offended that somebody didn't love something that I loved, or like thinking that something was like quote unquote trash, and then just being a total dickhead about it. Like that's not the way to be, people. Let people like what they like. You have your opinion, but don't be a dickhead about it. That's all.
Zach, do you remember the podcast episode or episodes in which all we did was trash Anthem as you enjoyed it?
I do.
Do you? I don't know. This doesn't sound like the same Chris from.
Listen. I don't think that like. I think I had pretty balance in my feedback. I was clear that I didn't think it was in good shape, but I think I always tried to say like, hey, I can see what they're going for. Like it's got to be hard as a developer, like to have something pushed out when you're not really like ready to push it out yet, and like again, you can have an opinion that says something is bad. Like I'm just saying, like I would never once like and at my age say like all these developers are lazy. This is like a piece of shit. Like it has its issues. I try to be balanced, I guess is what I'm saying. Back. So
no, I'm just giving you shit.
So on today's show, we're going to do a little bit of catch up, a little bit of free form. I'm going to talk a little bit about what we've been playing, some old games and some new stuff, including the new Sea of Thieves expansion. We have, I believe, 2 more missions to go in that. Like we're kind of just casually going through it, but we have some things to say about that for sure. Going to cover a little bit of news. We got some updates on PS5 remaster of Ghost of Tsushima, which is going to include some new content and enhancements for PS5. And then we will also be talking about Invincible. Now that everybody here has seen it, gonna just do a little, post-mortem, like little shooting the shit around that show. Spoiler alerts for everything we talk about today. So Sea of Thieves, Pirates, if you don't want to be spoiled, be forewarned, we're going to go into, full details, and ditto with Invincible. So if you haven't seen that show, just know here's your warning at the top of the show. You may want to pause and come back. So without further ado, let's talk about some video game news. I didn't mention it, in the run of show, but so the first thing I wanted to touch on was Mass Effect and Dragon Age, whatever that's called. The new Mass Effect, the new Dragon Age are confirmed to not be at EA Play this year. I know in our Discord chat today, George, you asked if we thought it was a red flag. Their absence is pretty conspicuous. So I'll put that question out to the group. I didn't want to get into it too much on the Discord, so I could save it for the show. So I'll answer last on that. Zach, you're in the hot seat. Do you think it's a red flag that those games aren't at EA Play?
No, I don't. I think they are saving those for a big come check out this Mass Effect presentation on this date, or come check out this Dragon Age presentation on this date. I think that's how they'll do it. I don't think that they want to squeeze them in here, I guess is the way to put it. But at the same time, I guess you could, segment them off and have a whole thing specifically for them. But I just think they're going to get their own event. I don't think they're ready to show right now, to the extent that maybe they don't want to shoot themselves in the foot. I think everybody's learning from the Cyberpunk fiasco that, don't show your game too early. And, especially with how Mass Effect Andromeda, was, I still think that, they want to be super cautious with that series. And Dragon Age, that ended on a good note. Inquisition was really well received. So I think they are just waiting until they have more on that one. Didn't they have a problem?
Yes.
Production of that or something.
So without going into like my thoughts, so a couple of facts. We know Mass Effect super early in development. We got a CG teaser basically, and they said like, hey, like it's in pre-production essentially. And yes, like the report on the street was that the Dragon Age game a year or maybe 2 years ago now had a reboot production. Like that project was not really scrapped, but it was essentially started over. They weren't really happy with the direction that the game was going. So
we got something last year, right? With the thing, the review at the end with
tiny bit of gameplay footage and stuff. I can't recall if that was before or after the reboot. Or
no, I remember last year we got like it was like a trailer, and at the end it showed this dude, the
Dread Wolf.
Yeah, and the
Solas, right? Like that's
Solas. Yeah. There you go. So I remember that we definitely got last year. So, but yeah,
trying to look and see if I can find. Dragon Age 4 was rebooted. And this is an article from April of 2019. So yeah, okay. So maybe like they're on track a little bit, but my point being is like I think you hit the nail on the head. Like there have been some production problems. Apparently, they pulled a large swath of staff to try to fix Anthem, and that was to the detriment of, I guess, the progress they were making on Dragon Age, which is a shame. Before I answer, George, answer your own question, buddy. Like, what do you think it raises red flags, or are you just disappointed?
I'm super disappointed. I'm not surprised though. So as far as like, I'll go into both, but I don't know if it raises a red flag. I thought it might with some in the group as concerns as to where those games are. The reason why it doesn't raise a red flag for me is not a good one, mostly because I feel like right now expectations are still pretty low for me. Like with BioWare, you know, I love all their games and everything, but given the state of everything, and you know, Anthem and their reboots and all this stuff, I'm not, you know, really expecting a whole lot. But I continue to question the public relations with this company time and time again, because like, why, like dude, you just saw how big of a hit this legendary edition was, right? Like, you literally just gave us back the original versions of the game, just, you know, beefed them up a little bit, made them nice and pretty, and boy, like, what an awesome experience it was to go through that again. Perfect timing, great, we were due for that. So you don't need much to satisfy your fans, to get back in our good graces, to kind of get some good press, some good hype, good momentum. You really don't need much more than a teaser, a little preview, a little question, you know, so maybe a little Q&A, something that you can show us or give us, that of what's in the works. It could be the simplest of things, dude. Like, I just think of like something as simple as them showing us what the next ship is going to be in Mass Effect, in the next Mass Effect game. Like, what is the ship going to be like? Giving us a little tour of the ship inside with no character, no gameplay, nothing. Just something as simple as that. I'd be just excited just to hear something about it, that the game is in development rather than being in the dark. Ever since they put together that trailer, to me, like, if they had enough resources and time to put together that trailer, that it was kind of well put together, but didn't really give us much, and it just has a lot of clues and hidden stuff in there. Like why wouldn't you ride that wave of good momentum with the legendary edition and just give us something? But I am more concerned that there's nothing on Dragon Age. That game is supposed to be much further along. It's got to be close. Like, you know, I can understand if they're gonna do a standalone event, but but tell us that you're gonna do a standalone event, or something else is gonna be, you know. But if you read that tweet, this is what, you know, the tweet was this: we're hard at work creating the next Dragon Age and Mass Effect games, and have some exciting stuff coming to Old Republic this year. While we won't be showing anything at EA Play, be sure to check out the Star Wars live stream today for some things to come. So that tells me not only is there, you're not showing anything at EA Play, which I think is bad. I think BioWare not showing anything is bad. I don't know if it raises the red flags about the specific games, but dude, nothing at all, like nothing. At least talk to us about the Mass Effect Legendary Edition, and I don't know if you have any plans for any add-ons, or there was some rumors about them adding the multiplayer. Like, I don't know. Like, talk about something, but you got nothing to say. The way that I read the tweet is, I kind of think they're not going to give us anything on Dragon Age or Mass Effect this year. That there isn't anything going to be coming out. Because they only specify the Star Wars stuff this year, but I don't know. So yeah, I don't know. I'm just bummed.
I don't know that I necessarily read that far into the tweet that like anything this year. I'm not saying that I think that there's like a great chance, you know, or it's a done deal or anything, but I don't know if you can read that much into it. I don't think it's a red flag that it's not at EA Play. Like, I think they're being a little overly cautious, number one. Like, they want to make sure that they show off something like when the time is right, when they have maybe something substantial, especially with Dragon Age. I think the next thing that they want to show off is like a significant gameplay like reveal and trailer. Like, I think they want that like reveal to be like special, to get people excited, and more importantly to really like show off like what the game is gonna be. As far as like Mass Effect goes, like I genuinely think that game is probably so early in development, like so early in the development, that like, yeah, I liken it to like the Elder Scrolls 6 like teaser that we got like 2 years ago, like something, you know, something that is, you know, obviously past like concept and like pre-production, but I think it's like maybe like super early in production. Like, I don't know how many assets or anything like that they have probably even like ready to go, you know, with that, let alone maybe like even like a story that's fully fleshed out. So we'll see. I want to follow up and ask, like, so what do we think is going to be at EA Play? I don't want to go super wild with speculation, but I mean, Dead Space seems like a safe bet, whatever that reboot is that's been like lighting up the internet. You know, you can bet on some fucking Madden or like FIFA stuff for sure. I imagine Battlefield 2042 is going to be pretty heavily shown. Any other kind of surprises or anything you can think of as far as like EA goes? Like, do you think there's any other like Star Wars projects like in the works for them? Like, is there like a chance that we get a Battlefront 3 reveal? Like, not for this year, obviously, but like something like that. And is there any other projects that you think there's a chance that could show up?
Zach, you want to go?
Yeah, I'm hoping more than anything we get whatever this Dead Space, remake is. I saw a tweet earlier today that said the rumor is that it's like a full blown remake and like in the style of Resident Evil. Like that's what they're taking their inspiration from. And man, that would be awesome because I loved Dead Space, the series. I never beat 3, but man, 1 and 2 were awesome. I think maybe you might see maybe another teaser for Skate. Right? They announced that. Was that last year, right?
Not 100% sure.
But I don't think we're gonna get any groundbreaking new Star Wars announcements. The only thing I would really be hoping for, would have been Mass Effect and Dragon Age. I can't think of anything else off the top of my head from EA other than Dead Space. Would they still have the rights to? Oh no, they wouldn't. But now that they own BioWare, would EA be behind KOTOR?
Yeah, I think so.
I would go all in for whatever the news on the remake of that is.
Nice.
But yeah, other than that, I can't really think of anything.
I mean, personally, I think a safe bet would also be an Apex character or event or something like that. Something Apex related.
Yeah.
It's a pretty safe bet. I would love to see something else. Give me another Titanfall game. Like the second
people
one
would lose their mind over that.
was such a darling, critically anyway. Like I know it didn't sell, but that's fucking EA's fault. That's not Respawn's fault. They put it up against Battlefield and COD. Like they cannibalized like their own goddamn studio. That was so stupid. Putting up against another EA shooter. Fallen Order teaser, like maybe my E3 prediction like could still potentially happen, right? Because like that they're the publisher for that. So that's really all I got though as far as possible predictions or hopes, I guess. But we'll see.
I don't know that we're gonna get any surprises. I'd love to see some kind of update on that Knights of the Old Republic remake. If that's pretty much all but confirmed, that'd be awesome. But I mean, it's 40 minutes long. It isn't that long. I don't think they're gonna do anything too big. They said it's gonna be Battlefield, Apex, and Lost in Random. If you guys remember that from Zoink. So there's gonna be probably some info on that. I think
Bobby Miller.
Oh,
fashionably late as always. Like the haircut.
Welcome, dude. Welcome.
You're muted, buddy.
Well, until then, so I mean, I think that's kind of what we're gonna get. I think as far as you can stretch it would be something Fallen Order related. I feel like we're due, man. Like, yeah, they had the next gen upgrade, but I feel like that game, like news wise, has been so like dead. Like it died so fast.
Yeah.
After like like obviously the game was almost under the radar. The timing that it came out left it out of some award stuff, but it was a good game. I don't know how like, if it was underplayed at all, but I feel like it just kind of came and went so fast, and it doesn't like, I don't know, it feels like it should be more relevant for a game that just came out like not that long ago, so I wish we would get something more about that. Would be really cool, or KOTOR, but I'm not expecting any big splashes here. But
my gut says it's going to be kind of like the Ubisoft event where it's like heavily focused on like a few key projects, and like that's going to be like what you get. But I love to be wrong.
Don't forget Madden, FIFA.
Yeah, I said Madden.
Like,
yeah,
just,
I
like,
think those are
safe. Like
for sure. Some other bit of gaming news, and then we'll switch gears and talk some TV. Ghost of Tsushima today. Director's cut, right? I think is what they're calling it. Announced formally today. Will be a $20 upgrade if you want it on the same gen, or a next gen upgrade will cost you $30. So essentially half the price of the new game. Will include a new island, a new survivor, and something else. I'm trying to remember what the there's some updates to Legends as well, and some fixed voice syncing issues, as well as dual sense enhancements, graphical enhancements, all that good jazz. Um, so I was really excited about the announcement, and then I saw the price tag, and I kind of balked a little bit, not knowing how substantial it's going to be. How did you all feel about that? It's not horrible. Like I wasn't like it didn't totally take the wind out of my sails, especially because there is both new content in the single player campaign and uh, in Legends. So I'm like that takes the sting out a little bit, but $30 seems like just a little steep for a next gen upgrade.
So you think like it's at first glance, yeah, it seems, but then when you start thinking about looking at it in context, like look at what they charge for Miles Morales. All right, the new standard for a next gen game is now $70, and they're essentially not afraid to charge you $70 for a next gen version of an old game
on one of the consoles,
game,
anyway.
right? On Sony, right? On the PlayStation 5, which is where this is coming out. I don't think this shit would have they would have been okay with this in the with Xbox. You know, I think they would have maybe make it a DLC but you get an automatic upgrade. Also, this game came out a good bit before the PS5 came out. You know, it's not like a game that came out right before, like a month before. It came out in the summer, right? Early in the summer. So maybe 5 to 6 months before. So this is a straight up PS4 game. You got the free like Legends DLC, which no one was expecting, right? Sure. Like they gave you something that people would have probably paid for. They gave it to you for free that nobody was expecting to happen. Again, that doesn't mean you can go back and charge for it later, but they gave us, you know, they've been good to the fans. $30 seems pretty steep, but you're getting some more content, a little bit of an expansion. Hopefully if that expansion is at least 5 hours, that's probably in par with some of the DLC stuff that you do nowadays. You know, factor in the upgrade and you get a couple of other things like some skins, some artwork, little things like that. I don't think it's bad. I don't think it's a big ask. I think 20 should have been ideal. But it's not horrible.
It's not horrible. It's just one of those things that like Xbox has spoiled me in that like when like with the smart delivery where it's like, hey, if you like they just don't charge for next gen versions of stuff. It doesn't matter how long it's been out. Yeah. Like Doom. I literally on my lunch break before I started watching Avengers, hopped into my library, downloaded the new enhancements for Doom and the DLC. And then granted, I think maybe on Sony they didn't charge for that either, right? Like it was just the save import didn't work. But like my point being is like you don't like Microsoft doesn't do that, and I think it's if I didn't know better, I'd be totally fine with this. But it's just like, man, like I hate that I have to spend $30. You do bring up the good point though that we got like free like a whole another mode, right? Like a substantial mode from the looks of it. That does take the sting out, especially since dropping the $30, you get that plus like the new content there, and then like the single player stuff. Like it's not the most egregious thing. It would have been a little sweeter if they had said, listen, if all you want is the next gen features for Ghost of Tsushima, you can upgrade completely free of charge. If you want this island and you want like the extra content in Legends, like that's where you'll charge the upgrade. I guess that's where I kind of have the problem is like I don't like that it's mandatory.
It's worth noting that Sucker Punch did provide a PS5 optimization update earlier this year for the PS4 version of Ghost of Tsushima. Mm-hmm. So they did provide some PS5 next gen upgrades to people who had the base game, the regular game. Yeah. So I'm very curious to see what exactly they are doing that's different in this version, because they're basically selling you on a better PS5 experience, but they gave you something. So if they're tossing in there 60 FPS and ray tracing, in addition to all these other modes, would be really cool.
So it says it's enhancements to 3D audio as well as 4K resolution options, but and of course drastically um, improved load times. There's also 60 FPS. So I don't know if that means 60 FPS in ray tracing or like what. They haven't quite clarified on the PlayStation blog
Yeah.
what that means.
Yeah,
So
it's tough, but I think the best way to describe it is it's fair. Could be cheaper, could have given us some more, but I think in a vacuum with what they've done, like I'm okay with it at the end of the day.
I mean,
And
the good news
it's
is
gonna be
like
half that price for us anyway.
we are definitely in August when this shit launches. Like you and I are, or we have to go do Legends now.
Yeah.
With the new
Yeah.
shit. Like, I mean, I feel like I have no choice. And I feel like a good way to kind of ease back into that will be like, since you can import your save, like if you can just go do the new like single player content, that'll kind of get me back into like the flow of like how the game feels. I like that, and an excuse to go back and play, which one of the best games last year, like hey, I'm happy to do it. It's cool. Like, especially incorporating like the dual sense and the 3D audio. Like I'm all for it, man. Like this game was spectacular. I mean, looking back at some of the screenshots and shit that people were posting today, I was going like, oh my God, I had such a good time playing this. Even with my broken AC, like crammed in a little bedroom for, the 2 weeks that my wife and I were down AC, that like I have nothing but fond memories about playing this game. So, Zach, did you ever get around to playing this?
Yeah, I played the.
That's right.
The
couple
main
islands.
game. Yeah, I never beat it though. So
you got to like the second island or something, right? Like,
I think I might have gotten. I'm like near the very end of the second portion of the island.
Gotcha.
And yeah, never went back to it. I don't know why. It's not any reason other than I just fell off.
Nice.
This version doesn't do anything for me, unfortunately.
Mr. Miller, are you going to unwrap the cellophane, or are you going to add to the collection with the new version?
See, now, what had happened was I remember opening it, and then I put it in and I installed it, but then something else came out around the same time, and I took it out.
Your other favorite game
so
came around the same time. Your favorite game, your game of the year,
Minecraft Dungeons.
No, Last of Us 2.
That game's so awful. I'm so mad about that. I want to take all the awards back. It's awful. See, my thing with Ghost is I kind of feel Chris's side and everyone else's. My thing is if Sony did the same thing for each exclusive, I'd be fine with that. But like ever since the Final Fantasy VII, the Yuffie DLC that you couldn't just pay for the upgrade if you got it free from PlayStation Plus, like stuff like that. I'm not a huge fan of doing stuff like that, but $30 for more DLC, 20 seems fair. 30, just no.
Yeah, 20.
Ever since Miles Morales was way overpriced, I can't ever say 20 or 30 makes any sense to me. But no.
Hey, what do you guys think about it in comparison to the Miles Morales thing? Like by comparison, this is infinitely better, right?
Miles Morales was a whole new game though, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It's a
technically
it's a 10 hour game, right? 10-hour story, roughly. I think people said I think it might be less actually. I think it was like 7 or something.
Yeah, I feel like I read that it was like 12 to 15 hours to platinum Miles Morales. Like it was like so if you're
and what did they charge for Miles?
50.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So yeah, so it's 50, and like so you're gonna get, if you factor in Legends and all that, you're gonna get more than that here.
But that came with the original Spider-Man too, right?
What?
That was $70. If you wanted the original Spider-Man, you had to pay $70.
Yeah.
It was $50 for just the Miles Morales.
And they originally weren't going to even let you import your save either. So it's like, you get you could get Spider-Man remastered, but you had to start over. And everyone was like, what the fuck, man? Like, I don't want to start over. I want to have my save file. Like, yeah.
So I mean, in comparison, this is a lot better. I think you're gonna get more content out of this.
Yeah. It's not the end of the world. I'm nitpicking a little bit. I just wish that like the upgrade was free, and then like I wish it was just optional, right? Like to get the other shit like that. I kind of like that's where it just feels a little dirty. Is like I own the fucking game. Like let me just have the next gen features, and then I can decide if I want to pay $30 for the extra island and the extra Legends content. Like make that a DLC, right? I don't know.
I would have. I wonder if we would feel differently if the Miles Morales wasn't a thing. That game didn't come out. If we'd be more upset about this. This, it probably would be, but
I would say my only thing is, which I've seen on the interwebs, is my only comparison would be for people complaining that Returnal should not have been a $70 game. Like that would be my only comparison to Miles Morales, because I thought Returnal it was all right for what it was.
I thought I
Even
was
though
happy
I
to pay
hate it now.
$70. I was
That's
happy
what
to.
I'm saying.
I was
mean,
happy to
hate
pay
myself.
$70. I felt like I got my money's worth like over and over. But like, I like that style of game. Like it hit on all the. It was excellent. To for like what it was. Like not everybody likes that. So like when people would ask me like is it worth $70? I would say, well, it depends. Do you like that kind of like, do you like spending, an hour or two and then like dying and then like having no progress that carries over? Like if that frustrates you, then like don't play this, like, because it's like a roguelike on steroids.
And I'll tell you, as a parent with 2 kids, that anything you're doing or touching or playing or looking at or doing whatever, they want to do it. So they get frustrated with me during Returnal when I'm like, look, I've been playing this for a couple of hours. And she's like, just let me try it. Just let me try it. I'm like, well, you're going to die. And I just earn this stuff and I'm trying to level up and do the 3rd act and do these things. Those things I got frustrated with them, but I still would restart it for no reason, just because I enjoy it. Even after I platinum it, I'm pretty sure I'm going to keep playing it because I really enjoyed Returnal.
It's good. That's absolutely worth the money. Like anyone that says otherwise, you just don't like that kind of game. And then that's on you, like at the time that it came out, I mean, you could still argue it, but at the time it came out, that was definitely the best exclusive that Sony had. Like, I mean, the game was put together beautifully. It looks great. Functionally, the game is great too. I mean, there's some quality of life issues with it, but like, talk about a game that fucking works. Other than the door glitch, like, man, that game was fucking ready. Like,
oh wait, you had the door glitch too?
Yeah, I had the door glitch.
Oh my god, that was pissing me off. I've saved so many files of me falling through the freaking earth every time I opened the door or held X to skip.
No, I had the one that they fixed it quickly, the one where the door wouldn't open back up, and I couldn't leave. There was no way to leave. But yeah, like that game, dude, that game was so fluid. Like that game just showcased everything that next gen is all about. So fuck yeah, that game is worth $70. Fuck out of here.
Yeah, it was certainly, plenty, whatever metric you use. I mean, there's plenty of content there, like even if you just mainline that game, it takes a while, like to get it clear. Like, case in point, I haven't finished it yet. Neither has George, I don't think. But like, that's not because we weren't enjoying it. It's just like
because Mass Effect.
Yeah, so many fucking things like came out. But yeah, not entirely a bummer, but a slight bummer nonetheless about Ghost of Tsushima. That being said, I am excited to go back in August. I think that's a great time, like just before the fall rush. I'll probably just play the new content and do the Legends shit, which is cool. I wish them all the success in the world. I just wish this was handled slightly better than it was. But moving on, so let's talk Invincible. Now, Bobby Miller, we are going to do spoilers. Have you finished Invincible?
No, I never even started it. No, you're good. Okay. I'm good.
Are you sure?
Even if you tell me, I'm not going to remember it anyway. So
okay. All right. So one final warning to you old listeners here. If you have not watched the animated series Invincible on Amazon Prime, here is your warning. And here we go. Spoilers begin now. So I started this on vacation back in like late March. And like my initial impressions were like pretty, I like cautiously optimistic. The final like 5 minutes of the first episode are insane. I did not like really, I underestimated how crazy the show was going to get, how quickly. And then like I think by the time I got to like episode 3 or like 4, like I paused the show kind of wrapped up, and then I just binged through the rest of them, and I by the end like absolutely loved it. What was your general impressions, George? Did you like end up by the time you got to the end like really like the show, or like are you hyped for season 2?
Yeah, I like the show a lot. I mean, it took me a while to get into it for sure, like a while to like finally sit down and watch it, because I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't really impressed by the character designs, like how they looked. Obviously, the guy Invincible. I'm like, what is this?
Big
Like,
complaint.
yeah, I was like, what is this, Bug Boy or something? Looks like he's got bug for eyes. Like, I was like, it looked very like gimmicky, and he even starts that way, right? Like when you see the fucking I forgot what they're called, like, but the whatever, the bootleg Justice League.
Yeah.
Whenever the council, right? I don't know, I forgot what they were called.
I don't remember either.
And then they all come out and they all just show up all at once. I'm like, bro, who are all these characters? All in obviously the end of that first episode, it won't matter. But but all these people are coming out. I'm like, oh my god, I'm so overwhelmed. Like, here's fake Flash, here's Superman, here's clearly the Batman knockoff. I'm like all these things that I was just so like overwhelmed. And then obviously, you know, the episode goes on and on and on, and then towards the end of it, like literally right before it happens, I'm like, I don't understand why this is rated R. Fuck! Holy shit! Like, what? Bro, I just absolutely, when fucking Omni-Man just goes ape shit and just fucking straight murders the entire Justice League, and I'm like, what the fuck happened here? Like,
so in that scene,
I'm in.
I'm laying in bed, like in, you know, fucking Costa Rica. Like most of the shit that we, you know, have here, you don't get there. But like exclusives to Netflix and Prime, like are like they're pretty much universal. Like they're anywhere in the world that you are. So it's like, well, this is a good time to like maybe watch like a couple like Netflix or Prime shows, since like I can easily pick it up and put it down and you know, watch when I get home. And so we're laying in bed. Marianne's on her phone, kind of like half paying attention, and she's like, God, like everybody on the internet is like posting about like how like wild this show is and like, you know, how subversive. She's like, this just seems like another superhero show. Like, I don't know. I don't get this stuff. This is more your bag. I'm like, yeah, no, I don't know. Like, this is very much like, you know, like, I mean, it's a father-son story. Like, that's been done before. Like, huh. And then, like, same exact thing, dude. That scene happens. Like, I look over and she just got her phone in her hand and is like staring at the fucking TV. And both of us are like, oh my fucking God, dude. And it's brutal. Like, that scene is fucking disgusting. Like, it's gross.
Yeah, it's
and
that was really intense, man.
And it kind of sets the tone for like what comes after that. And of course, like the logo. Hey, what's up, Adam? Adam Gumber is joining us here late in the show. Welcome, Adam. We are talking about Invincible.
I haven't seen it.
We're just finished. Okay, so we're doing spoilers. So you may want to.
I already know what happens. It's all good.
Oh, okay. Oh. Yeah, I forgot. You're like one of those people that the spoilers are like don't phase you. Yeah. So Zach, did you have the same reaction to like the first episode? I feel like that's like a pretty common, like my brother even like it messaged me and said like, Jesus, I just finished the first episode.
So I had read a lot of the comics.
Oh, okay.
Before this had happened. I used to work at a movie theater, and when I was sitting in box office, man, and it was dead, my buddy just let me borrow him one day. And I blew through so many of them. I never finished them, but I got right up in the comics. I got right up to where his dad pretty much confesses what he's all about. And that happens way, way later than it does in the show. And
interesting.
It's fucking so good, dude. Like the violence is just so over the top. It's like it's just taking what like The Boys did, and I feel like it just puts it in animated form, really, right? Because The Boys is just over the top crazy violence as well.
I would argue like while I love the craziness of the Boys, like I feel like The Boys is a little more like humorous, and I think like Invincible has more heart, like at least like comparing season to season. Like genuinely, like the in the final episode when Omni-Man is beating the shit out of Invincible and like, you know, like could kill him, like that whole like I think is amazing. Like that scene like where he's thinking back to the T-ball game, it's phenomenal. Like I don't know
J.K. Simmons killed it.
Yeah, I mean the voice cast like all around is great. But like even like, you know, the college like episode, like you genuinely feel bad for like I forget what his friend's name is that's, you know, crushing on the college dude, and of course things go way south. Like I feel like it has a little more heart, and that's not to knock against. I love The Boys. Like I just think The Boys is a little more
totally
like
two very different. I was just talking about in terms of how fucking awesome the violence is.
fucked
in
up.
both.
Yeah. I mean, you could kind of slice it. I think the Boys does a little more like sexual stuff for sure. Like I'm looking at the face it scene. I'm looking at you. and, and The Boys, but yeah, I mean they both like definitely like have like the shock factor, and of course having the Superman character being the villain is like pretty obvious connection there.
I think the fight between Omni-Man and Invincible was one of the best like shows of power like ever. Like that was right because I know he's still young for his powers, right? But Mark's strong for what he is, right? That's why he's got his name. And fucking Omni-Man just whooped his fucking ass, dude. When he held his head in the train,
oh my god,
my mouth was literally, I was like, oh my god, dude. I was like, he's fucking destroying him. And it was awesome, man. And then you're right, when it got to that T-ball scene and he's beating the shit out of him on the mountain, man, and like you can see like something flips in Omni-Man, man. I'm so excited to see where they take it. Because like I said, that's pretty much where I fell off. So it's all new to me now. And man, I can't wait to see where they go.
I mean, I think the show is better than The Boys personally. I think The Boys is like a fun show, entertaining show. I don't think it's like a great show, but I think this one is great. I mean, it's only one season, but I think this one has the potential to really be like really special. I like just everything that they do in there is pretty good. Probably my only complaint, I'm not a big fan of the girlfriend. I think she's kind of annoying and just like not understanding whatsoever. Like this dude's she knew that he was a superhero all along, and then she's still kind of like.
Yeah, that's the part that bothered me.
I was
sympathetic towards her until like she revealed that she knew what was
all
up,
along.
And then I was like, "Hold on,
problem?"
I'm like,
why are you still gonna?
I don't, because she comes across all mature and all this stuff, and then it's like that. I thought was weak. I don't know how that compares to the comic, but I think like they play the long game a lot in the series, which I love. Like in that first episode, it took you all that build up. I'm here like, how are they're just gonna throw all these characters at me, and then boom, you don't need to develop them if they're all dead, like which was great. And then the build up with the mom starting to put the pieces together and figure out everything about Omni-Man, that goes over a course of several episodes, and there's this constant build up where she starts to kind of like, she's got like, for a cartoon character to have this like kind of this inner battle with themselves when they come to the realization that the man that she loves is a fucking sociopath, like all this stuff, it's just awesome. Her reaction when she hears how Omni-Man talks about her, like she's just she's just like a pet. Like, dude, that was everything in there. It's just so well done and well put together. It's a shame that it is only 8 episodes. Absolute shame. But
hey, season 2 and 3, like they already like they preemptively like renewed it for not 1 but 2 seasons. So
yeah, but I thought it was really good, man. And yeah, it's brutal. It's brutal, but like I don't know about, like, it is brutal and shocking, but not shocking like that. The brutality is shocking. Like what happens is shocking. Like Omni-Man turning, him attacking his son is shocking. It is violent, but that's kind of the difference between The Boys. The Boys, the stuff they do, like the actual grotesque nature of it is what's shocking.
Yeah.
It's not shocking that you got all these power hungry, greedy people, but like the shit they do, that's like, oh my god, like that's
the violence feeds into the story in Invincible, right?
Yeah,
like when he's destroying the city, he's like, you want to see what we can really do, and he like throws him through the city, and like Mark gets up and he's like, dude, all I did was go flying through a building, and look how many people are dead around me, man. Like
everything has like a perfect reason in that show for why they do it, and it's so good. And then like I talk about the character development for the original Justice League or whatever they're called, but then when you think about
Guardians of the Globe.
Yeah, Guardians of the Globe. Then when they talk about, but when you look at all the characters throughout everything, the robot, oh my god, like what a whole thing, Monster Girl, all these different like side stories, Adam, Eve, like and then by the end of this the first season, like you're kind of really in tune with a ton of these characters. So
in such
well
a short
done.
amount of time too,
Yeah.
right? Like you said, only 8 episodes, and you feel that attached to them in that quick amount of time. It's awesome.
Well fucking done, man.
Kirkman's better series, in my opinion. I've read Walking Dead and this, and I like Invincible. Well,
Yeah,
I
I'm
haven't
definitely
read all of this. But
I'm at that crossroads that happens when I discover something like when it in its adaptation form versus original, where like I had that push pull where I'm like, I want to read the comics, but then also like I'll inevitably spoil some shit for myself. But then like so it's I don't know, it's a weird.
that's how I was like that with Game of Thrones too. Like I always wanted to read the books like after I started watching the show, and then I just never did.
I did it, Chris. When I was a fan of The Walking Dead, I eventually then shifted over to the novel and passed everything, and then went back to the show. But coincidentally, it was a time when the show started to fall apart, and I stopped caring for both. So I wouldn't recommend it. Enjoy the show for what it's worth.
Yeah.
If it gets to a point where you're done with the show or bored of it, that's when you pick up the comics.
Well,
But
when
not
it's
at the
They're
same
not going anywhere, so yeah. All right, well, let's switch gears for our last 10 minutes and talk Sea of Thieves, especially now that we have Adam here. He was part of our pirate crew the first night we played Sea of Thieves. Specifically, we're going to talk about a pirate's life. That's what it's called, right?
A Pirate's Life, yeah.
For Sea of Thieves, featuring multiple characters from the Pirates of the Caribbean film franchise, including Jack Sparrow, Davy Jones. We're pretty sure it's Tia Dalma, but they just call her the Stranger, I think. Barbosa. There's all kinds of good shit there, and of course locations and ships from the films. Bobby, did you get a chance to check this out? I know you played some Sea of Thieves back in the day.
It is my only Xbox physical copy.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I haven't played it. I played it after at first I played it for the first like year it came out.
Mm-hmm.
But then I stopped playing it after a while because I got tired of, people like y'all that just see a little lonely guy with a ship full of crap that he's been spending 5 hours on, and you come and take all my stuff and run away.
Listen, man, pirates got a pirate.
Hey, no, it happens. I got tired of it after that. But then they fixed it to where they no longer like respawn like right next to you. They fixed the mermaid thing where they spawn them away on their ship somewhere else.
Yeah.
And I was cool with it after that, but I haven't. Ever since they added like the pets, I think that's from then on is my last.
See Zach's bouncing out. Well, I can tell you. So our experience was wildly uneven the first night that we played it. Like I think it's fair to say, like there were some high highs and some really frustrating lows, specifically around technical glitches, around like a non-instance area that was part of the quest. We ran into a couple of gnarly glitches. I mean, one during a boss fight, like one during an encounter where like it's not the game is mysterious kind of on purpose, and it wasn't apparent that we had a glitch, so we just thought we were being dense as far as like the puzzles go, and that kind of sucked. But like I will say, like the opening like mission that we played that first night, like we had a great time with. It went off without a hitch, like because again it's instant, so it was just us and our crew, and everything worked beautifully. The second night, I would say we had significantly better luck. Would you agree? Like doing that,
100%.
And I think again it was instant, so like not really a surprise there. Overall, I really like it. I would just say prepare yourself if you play it to maybe encounter some frustrating stuff. And if you're stuck for more than like 10 or 15 minutes and you fancy yourself decent at puzzles, I would just look up what's supposed to happen in the encounter and see if you've encountered a glitch, and don't bang your head against the wall like we did.
Mm-hmm.
Open up the floor to you guys. How did you feel about it?
Man, it's tough to talk about it without factoring in those glitches, man, because that, like, I wouldn't say it breaks the game, but wow, what a big impact it had on the experience, man. We were riding high doing that first mission, having an absolute blast, right? Like, I've never played the game before. I think some of you guys had maybe a while ago, so this was all new to me. But for that first part, I was like, I'm just here chilling with my boys on my pirate ship, playing music, getting drunk, and just swashbuckling. All right, like just like it was just such a good time, man. It was just such a good time. Just man, the ocean waters is beautiful. Having to kind of work together to steer the ship was awesome. And the first mission was really good. They are long. The individual missions are on the long side for sure. Which made the bugs that we got in the second one really bad. Like really, a damn shame, man, because we got not one but two major bugs right after the other that basically prevented progress. And like you mentioned earlier, for a game that has so many, like, you're supposed to figure things out on your own and it's very vague in terms of the direction it gives you, it's brutal. You can't afford to have stuff like that in the game because it takes too long to figure out that you've got a problem, and it literally took for Adam to look up like a video. We had to pull up a video to see what's supposed to happen. We're like, that's not here. And even then you're still like kind of second guessing it, whether it's right or wrong or whatever. So it was super frustrating, man. And we just thought we were idiots. Like we played that game until it was past midnight before we finally gave up, and then when we jumped into it again the second time and it went through real smooth, it was so much faster, and so it's a damn shame if you run into that, so but the game itself, when it works, really cool, really fun. It's a fucking blast. Highly recommend it. You got to play it with at least a friend. It's the game is so much more fun not playing it alone. I
can't imagine soloing that. Like I don't think I would have nearly as much fun like playing solo. Like
it's a fucking blast, man. What about you, Adam? Have you jumped back into it? Did you keep going? We haven't played past the
you guys went without me, so that's not a big deal.
Hey, we put it out in the chat. We did. We put it out in the chat.
We did. I actually played with a friend like on 2 days after that or whatever. And we started back at 1 and did 2, and we didn't have any issues. So maybe it's just a day one thing. It's still frustrating regardless. But after that, we seemed to be good. Had a great time playing those 2 missions that we had already done.
So you're on the third. You haven't done the third one yet?
I need to do the third one. Yeah.
Okay. I would be down to go back and do it.
Spot as you.
Do the third one and keep going. Yeah, we had fun playing with you and Jax too.
Mm-hmm. It was a great time.
Jason, Jax, whatever.
The third mission in particular I love because like some of the earlier ones are very much like an homage to like the films, and that one is all about the ride. So if you've ever been on the ride in Disneyland or Disney World, like it is just a absolute love song to like that ride. There are so many cool little details, and like I don't want to like spoil too much, but like they nail like the vibe. We'll just put it that way of like the ride in the Disney parks.
Is it like the first mission where Dead Men Tell No Tell?
It's way more advanced than that.
Way more in that. Like, so you see the in the first mission you see the ships fighting each other, right? And you think that's what it's referencing, but no, this time you actually go through the ride and then almost behind. Have you been on that ride?
No, I've never been in Disney.
Okay. Damn. So it's like you're going behind the ride, in the ride, interacting with the things in the ride. It's awesome, dude. And
right down to like the dialogue and stuff. Like they definitely pulled like audio straight from like the ride. Like,
I don't know what order would be better, but it is 100% worth watching like a ride through like on YouTube of that ride. Maybe before or after. I don't know. What do you think might be better, Chris? Watching it before and then going in the game, or
yeah, for sure.
Like, there's go to the ride before on YouTube and then play the game, and you'll see how cool it is. And yeah, literally everything is in there in a way that just feels like it makes sense. Like that's the world, like that. So super cool, man. We should set up our next playthrough here with the podcast group. That left a bad taste in my mouth the way that ended that day.
Yeah. It's worth checking out. I think like the cool thing is like I've never done any of the Tall Tales, and they addressed the biggest complaint I had when I played this game on day one, which was like, as far as systems go, like it's a great game. There's a lot of fun emergent gameplay that just happens by fucking around in the world. But like as far as like depth and story, like that wasn't really there. And I feel like this solves a lot of the problems. It's not overly challenging or difficult. Like the boss fights are like really like mechanically pretty straightforward. The puzzles are there, but they're like light puzzles. Like you can solve them, I would say, like in a couple of minutes usually if you have 4 people. Like they're not overly hard, but it's like enough depth that like you feel like you're having a larger adventure and story and stuff like that, which I really appreciate. So yeah, I think it's worth checking out.
Yeah. Also, last thing on that, we played. I played entirely over xCloud on my PC. Didn't have a problem for like 6 hours straight. It was great.
Yeah, the only problems were game side.
Yeah, that was just game stuff, not streaming stuff.
That's right. You also had a console crash, right? Where everybody on console crashed at the same time or something on something.
It was at
weird
the
there,
very
too?
end. It was like 12:30. Everything crashed. I was like, okay, I'm going to bed.
Jackson and I definitely were like,
Yeah. It was fun, man. It's fun. It's not something that I'd play every day, but yeah, I would, even after completing this, I'd go back and play some other Telltales. I don't think I'd get much of a kick out of just just driving around and trying to fight people, whatever. But going in and playing that like a co-op thing like that was fun, man, for sure. Simple game, but good stuff.
absolutely. Well, let's do what we've been playing and kind of wind it down. I'll go first. So behind me, you can see the beautiful Irithyll Valley, Boreal Valley in the city of Irithyll from Dark Souls 3, because who has all the achievements in Dark Souls 3? Just 80 short hours? This guy right here. Holy fucking shit, man.
80
like
short hours.
that was by far probably like one of the most brutal like trophy hunting, because like so many of it the trophies relied on covenants, which are all PvP or like other activities involving players, and Dark Souls 3 is like I think 5 years old now, so the player base is not really there. Like add that with it, it's like level dependent. You have to be within like 10 levels of somebody to go instance into their game world. Man, so it was either do that or like you can farm enemies with like a 1 in 100 chance to like drop 30 items that you need. It was just awful. Thankfully, the one that I left for last is the only one you could cheese, and I was like, hey, Kyle, that's my brother, I'm like, Kyle, get on there, here's my password, like I just need you to like summon me and let me just kill you like 30 times, and that was like the last grindy one that I got. So he just got his character butt naked, and like I would like summon in and just run at him and slice him, and I'd get the item, and I like we just hung out and talked for an hour while I did that, and then after that was it was no big deal. Yesterday I from start to finish like beat the game in 2 hours. Like just ran from boss to boss, and like I looked up the location on the last few rings I needed. One of the achievements is get every ring in the game, and some of them are only available on playthrough 2 and 3. And I just boop, 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 like flew through, and it's gonna be a while before I want to play a From Software game. I love them, but like that almost broke me. I'm just too goddamn stubborn. But it's done. I got the achievement, so that's all I've been playing for like 2 weeks, and it's over with.
Well, I don't have any platinums that mean anything because I'm not doing that.
Yeah. Dude, I don't understand. Like
it's just a poorly designed. It's a poorly designed thing. So like to me, like I only go for the 100% on games that I really truly love, and like I love all the From Software games. I have one more to go, which is Dark Souls 2, and it's not nearly as bad as this. I'll probably save that for like the winter, but that's like my ultimate like kind of tip of the hat to a developer is like I'm gonna take the time to do all the achievements. So yeah, otherwise like I kind of just go for the stuff that's easy.
These games are so like always funny to me because you can tell like how passionate and how much you love these games, and then like you try to like sell them to me, but then the more you talk about them, the less that I want to play any of these fucking games.
That's not a natural way to play. Like what I did, that's not a natural way to play it. Like
everything about that game is absolutely brutal, but like,
no, it's fantastic. I think you would like I said, Bloodborne and Dark Souls 3. Bloodborne is one I would start with, but like
I bought Dark Souls. I don't know. I'm pretty sure it was 3. I bought a Dark Souls game and I played like 10 minutes of it, and I was like, nope, I'm out.
After coming from Sekiro, though, I think like you'd have a different mindset where you'd be like, okay.
Even like the Demon Souls, right? Like I beat I first tried the first boss and got through that, but it's just like something about like I think what keeps me in Sekiro is just the speed of it. The speed and the mobility of your character.
That's why you like Bloodborne.
Yeah,
Bloodborne's all about like the like
Dark Souls and
dodging
Demon Souls. These games like they're more realistic. It feels like you're they're much more realistic, which it's a drawback for me. It makes the game feel slower, more sluggish. It doesn't respond the way that I'm used to in boss fights and traditional games. This is not my jam. I'd only be playing through it simply for accomplishment's sake, which and then I just but yeah, but for me to platinum or get all the achievements, I have to not only really love the game, but it has to be reasonable too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't go too crazy.
It's just the one exception, but that's it. Next on the docket's Miles Morales, which I got on sale. That's gonna be a great palate cleanser. Gonna start it tomorrow, and probably the Doom DLC. Adam, how about you? What have you been playing, my man?
Funny story. I started playing Ghost of Tsushima last night just because I was like, I need to get back into that game. And today they announced all that ridiculous
at least
stuff.
At least your save will transfer over.
I mean, I don't know if I'm going to get that. We'll see. But yeah, so I'm going to try to get through that game because I got the first part, and I just started Act 2 because I walked across the bridge or whatever. So I was like, okay, yeah, let me keep going because I liked the game, but I didn't. I just fell off, and I got to take a break from Returnal. Because I enjoyed that, but I was sat down last night. I was like, I don't have time for a 2-hour run, so I guess I'm just gonna play something else.
Yeah.
How about you, Bobby? What you been playing, man? We haven't seen you on the show in a little bit.
Yeah, it's it's been a while. I had LASIK, and then I went to get LASIK again, and then I had the car accident. And then now it's just been trying to find another car. But all I've basically been playing is MLB The Show. I'm not going to go on about dingers. I listened to that show the other day again.
Hitting dingers.
Yeah. Yes. My opinions about Marvel haven't changed. But but I still hit dingers. But it's cool. I've been playing I got Little Big Planet when it was on like $40 or something. Sackboy, whatever the new one was for PS5.
Sackboy Adventures, right?
Yeah, I've been enjoying that. I bought another controller for my other daughter, so all three of us could play at once. That's been interesting because they get confused about which one to watch. And then I'm like yelling at them, like, come on, keep moving. And they think it's them moving, but it's not. I've been playing Little Big Planet and Returnal, trying to platinum that. That's just a personal goal. I don't really platinum that many games unless they're Foxyland. But Returnal, I really wanted because I don't know how the hell I missed anything at this point. But apparently there's 2 rooms that I'm missing. And
I heard that one's not
random,
as hard, right?
Like some of that's like
so very random.
Oh
yeah.
shit! So you gotta just keep playing until you hopefully get the room that you need.
There was a Reddit post where the guy took 436 deaths until he got the door where it was like the room in the beginning, first level. It was like a crisscross, which I remember I hadn't seen since the first time I played it. Yeah, there's no way I do that 400 times, but yeah, I still enjoy it. I love Returnal. I like ranking up some of the weapons that I didn't. Most of them I was stuck at like 83 before I died.
I'm kind of like low key, like kind of. I'm glad that you like that game so much. Like I really didn't expect you to take off with that game the way that you did, which is cool. It doesn't seem like your type of game, honestly, man.
It's not like Demon Souls. I bought that crap and
play Hades, dude. So play many Hades, times, man.
And I was like, nope. I bought Hades.
You gotta play that, man.
If you like Returnal, you'll love Hades.
Yeah.
Well, I liked Dead Cells. I love that game.
Oh yeah,
that was my first like intro into any of this. But Returnal, I can't get enough of it for some reason.
That's a good thing. I mean, you definitely getting your money's worth out of it, man.
Oh yeah, definitely. $70 plus.
Yeah. And then last but not least, George, hit us, man. You got a little teaser behind you.
Yeah. What have I been playing? Well, I finished. Let me finish strong, I guess. I finished Mass Effect. And man, that was awesome. Man, I'm so like I can't get enough. Now I started reading the compendium that I bought that has all the comics because now it's all making sense, which I highly recommend for any Mass Effect fan. It's been awesome just reading that for a few minutes before bed. I don't think it's in the best order, but man, the first one goes into how they recovered Shepard's body between 1 and 2. Which is fucking sick. Like it's so good, man. So highly recommend that. I think it's like $25 on Amazon. Definitely worth reading, especially after just recently playing the games. I loved everything about that. I 100%ed that. I got every freaking achievement, mostly because it's all doable in one playthrough of each game. You got to play the third one a little bit extra to get one of the achievements, but other than that, It's all super doable if you kind of do everything. Loved all the DLC, fucking awesome shit around. After that, like I didn't know what to play. I couldn't just jump into something major again. I was kind of exhausted. I don't know how much time I put into Mass Effect, and I don't want to know, but I did everything in that damn game. So I started playing like The Sims. Just out of nowhere, I just like that game was just kind of so chill, just to pop in, play it. I just bought some expansions for it because they had a sale. So I bought somebody recommended Seasons, which is the best one. Then it's like you pick they have expansions, then packs, and then kits, like different levels of content. It was like $40. So I bought the Seasons, and then I bought the Star Wars one, which I heard wasn't that great, but it's basically a rendering of the park. So I haven't done that yet, but it looks pretty cool. So giving that a go, and it's been just fun just to play something chill. But I finally grew the balls to play this fucking game behind me, Resident Evil 7 Biohazard. Chris had recommended I play that on stream. That that it'd be fun to watch. He's actually not watched hardly any of it, but
I've watched some on demand. I haven't caught up. Like I'm definitely like several hours
but that's
behind,
fine.
but
But that's fine because Chris's suggestion has been the catalyst for like my stream being more popular than it ever has been. I have not enjoyed myself that much, but the people watching certainly have. Like subscriptions are up, views are up. I got some great clips. I just beat it last night. So I think I started playing it maybe Saturday or something like that, and I played it a little bit every night since then, and stream all on stream. If you want to laugh at a grown man screaming, nearly falling out of his chair at jump scares, there's plenty of content available for you. Good game. It's fucking terrifying, man. Like I was fucking scared out of my mind for especially the first half of the game. But then, of course, you get that victory lap at the end of the game where it takes you through some of the places that you went through, giving you some flashbacks. And I knew what was coming, and it still fucking scared me. Yeah, the game's kind of wild, man. These idiots just do all the kind of things that you'd never find me anywhere messing with any of this. Like I would never go into a house that looks like this, no matter who was in there. My mom was in there. Nope, sorry. It's not happening. But it was good. Super disappointed with the final boss. They absolutely mailed it in. I thought the boss fights were like clever enough, tricky enough, had enough mechanics for it to be kind of fun. Up until that final boss, like, dude, I've accumulated all this weaponry, I saved all these resources, and I thought I was going into this fucking big ass boss fight where I was gonna need everything. And the way you beat the boss is just hold down the right trigger. You don't even have to move. The game moves for you. Like, this is lame. The only thing that would have been worse, and honestly, I would argue this is even worse than the thing where you just have to press the buttons on the screen to kill something. I think this is worse than that. Because at least you could screw that up. But yeah, I don't know why they did that. But overall, the other game is pretty good, man. It's an interesting story, a weird situation, all kinds of crazy shit. I absolutely chose Zoe with no regret. I let the stream vote, but that's who I would have picked because Mia is a lying, backstabbing little bitch, who just, even when she's completely lucid and sane, she lied to you. I lied for years. I kept a lot of things from you. It was
going to be sad to
decision.
know that saving Mia is the canonical ending. So when you start Village, you'll have that.
I figured it's pretty obvious, but Zoe didn't try to kill me all the time, and she's
helpful the whole game.
She's actually helps the entire game,
Yeah.
even though I was expecting her to screw me over, but she wasn't. So, and Mia cut my arm off, has tried to kill me. Not cool, but yeah, good game. Had a good time.
Please,
Yeah.
before the end of the year, play Village because it's definitely a game of the year contender. Every little nitpick I had with 7, especially like the final boss, like they address in spades. It is less scary, although there are some scary ass parts to it. Like there's a couple sections that are like really, really scary, more actiony, and like the weapon it has more RPG like mechanics. Like so, like the weapon upgrades and things like that. Like
I will.
are cool. Like I think you'll
will
really
play
like Village. Like I know you probably need a little break, but
Yeah, I think I'm gonna play some. Like I don't know. I picked up some free DLC for 7. If the other ones are free too, I'll probably play. Maybe check them out.
mhm.
So I might still play a little bit more of it. But yeah, definitely will play Village before the end of the year. Basically, I think I'm just gonna pick it up whenever a sale comes about. And
smart.
yeah, and then in the meantime, you know, yeah, I need a little bit of a fucking break because that shit was fucking terrifying.
It was definitely it was fun what I caught live, and certainly like again watching on demand has been great. Unfortunately, the timing didn't work out for me to watch live much, but I'm glad it worked out. I had a feeling that was going to be a successful like and definitely entertaining stream just because of how much you hate scary shit. So um, awesome.
Yeah.
Well, that does it for this week. Thanks for hanging out with us once again. We are going straight into recording an episode of Aliens versus Predator. Probably by the time this posts, you'll be able to catch Predator 2 on both YouTube and Spotify. And then next week, we will put out our review discussion of Alien 3, which we just watched this past week. So be sure to check that out as well. Until next time, we love you.
Peace.
Got some Michonne. I like it.